Big brother, please become my follower, Lily said with upturned eyes. William was sure that if he hadn't managed to see the lowly goddess's true form, then he might have readily agreed to her pleading. Sorry, but I'm not interested. William looked around in desperation. He looked at his brother Issei for help, but the latter only nodded his head with a smile. The lowly goddess is also a good choice, brother, Issei commented. A few of my lovers are lowless. Not only are they cute and adorable, they are also very loyal as well. Lily gave William a big grin. Big brother, come, choose me as your patron god. I promise that you won't regret it. Remember, jail is just another room. Out of sight, out of mind! Seeing that his sworn brother was in cahoots with the lowly granny, William's gaze shifted to the one god that had never left his side since the day he stepped inside the temple. Gee, Gavin, please help me, William pleaded. Why should I help you? Lily is a good goddess. Gavin smirked. The two of you are a match made in heaven. Right. The two of us are a match made in heaven. Lily happily nodded her head in agreement. William could feel that his body was slowly turning numb. Maybe it was due to his body's reaction to the lowly goddess, or perhaps it was due to the divine essence that was being released by Lily at close proximity. Out of desperation, William used a trump card that would ensure his safety. Gavin, if you help me, then I promise to become your follower, William roared. Lily was taken aback by William's decision. This was the first time this happened to her. The majority of the people that had entered the temple would always agree to sign a contract with her the moment she acted cute and clingy. It never crossed her mind that because of her actions, she forced William into a dead end. You heard him, Lily. Gavin stepped forward and pried the little lowly away from William's stiff body. Che, Lily pouted. After being freed from the lowly granny's hold, William was finally able to relax. He took a few deep breaths to compose himself before looking at Gavin with grateful eyes. Give me the contract, William said. I will sign it. Gavin didn't do anything and simply looked at William with a serious expression. He really wanted to give the boy his contract, but he didn't want to force him either. The god of all trades knew that he played dirty in order to get William's promise, and he felt very guilty. What's the rush? Gavin cleared his throat. It would be best if we talk about this while having good food. Sounds like a great idea. Issei nodded his head in agreement. He felt that something was amiss, but he decided to just follow the flow for now. I'm coming too. Lily didn't want to be left out, so she decided to follow them. Gavin took William and the two tag-along gods to the most popular restaurant inside the temple. This restaurant was personally managed by the god of cooking. William's tongue almost melted when he took his first bite. Delicious. William was in awe and devoured the food on his plate with gusto. Although he was already dead, the food made him recall the time when he went to sleep while feeling hungry. The orphanage didn't have many funds, and the food was limited. He would often share his meal with his little brother and sister so that they wouldn't feel too hungry. The three gods caught a glimpse of his sad memory and ordered more foods to be brought to their table. They looked at the boy with pitiful eyes and decided to let him eat a lifetime worth of delicious food. After the meal ended, William patted his swollen belly in contentment. That was the best, William said as he closed his eyes in satisfaction. Do you want more? Gavin asked. We could always order more. Thank you, but I'm already full. All right, if you say so. William glanced around the restaurant. Most of the customers were gods. He deemed that most of the chosen ones had already chosen their patron gods and entered their cycle of reincarnation. Gavin, can you please tell me the duties of a follower? William scratched his cheek sheepishly. I don't really get this stuff. Is there something that I must do in exchange for your blessing? Before that, let me tell you more about me. Gavin decided to come clean. He wanted William to choose him by his own free will and not because he was forced to do it. After my explanation, you can decide whether you want to choose me to become your patron god or not. William was surprised by Gavin's demeanor. In the end, he decided to nod his head and listen to the god's explanation. Seeing that William was giving him his full attention, Gavin started his explanation. As you may already know, my slogan is Jack of all trades, master of none. Just like your good brother Issei, the moment you sign my contract, then you will receive my blessing. My blessing works like this. You will have a 20% increase in the experience that you will gain when you increase the level of your job class. Job class? Just like in games? William asked. He had played RPGs before and he was quite familiar with the leveling concept. The boy had also read plenty of novels in regards to cultivation and virtual games. so it was easy for him to understand Gavin's explanation. Yes, that is the first benefit of becoming my follower. Gavin nodded his head in confirmation. The second benefit is that you will get an extra skill point whenever your job class levels up. Isn't that amazing? It is indeed amazing. However, I have one question, and that is, will your blessing apply to the world I am going to live in? I doubt that your blessing will be useful if I was reincarnated on Earth. After all, there are no monsters on Earth. You can't gain experience from killing monsters. Who said you only gain experience when killing monsters? Gavin asked back with a knowing smile. You don't have to kill monsters? William asked back. You don't need to kill monsters in order to gain experience to upgrade your job class. Remember this, William, every world has its laws. I believe you Earthlings have a saying when in Rome, do what Romans do. The same can be said to other worlds. When you live in that world, you do the things that people do in that world, understand? Yes. Good, Gavin continued his explanation. The third benefit is this. Once you unlock 10 jobs, you will be able to merge them all together. For example, you can be a knight, a priest, a sorcerer, a druid, a dragon warrior, etc. etc. That sounds too good to be true. What is the catch? William was not naive. If everyone could have this overpowered ability, then Gavin wouldn't be this desperate to make him his follower. Gavin gave a wry smile as he decided to be honest with William. The thing is, most people can only have 1 to 3 professions in their lifetime. Achieving 10 professions or more is only possible for long-lived creatures like the elves. So basically, if I'm not born an elf, then I'm fed. Not exactly. Only the ability to merge the job classes into one will remain unreachable for you. The rest of the benefits remain. Oh, that's good news then. William felt relieved because the blessings that Gavin mentioned were not a bad deal. All right, where do I sign? Are you sure that you really wanted to become my follower? There are better gods out there, you know, Gavin replied. It's fine. I trust you. William looked at Gavin seriously. I believe that you are telling me the truth. Gavin felt the stone in his heart drop. He waved his hand and a contract appeared out of thin air. He then handed it to William along with a pen. The god of all trades did his best to prevent his hands from shaking. In truth, aside from William, he only had one last follower. A god with no followers would cease to exist. This was why he was quite desperate to recruit William under his wing. In the end, his honesty towards the boy made the latter choose him as his patron god. After signing the contract, William felt a strong connection between him and Gavin. It was a very warm feeling and it made him feel safe. So, this is what it feels like when you sign a contract with a god, William muttered. I'm really jealous, big brother. You should have made me your patron god instead, Lily pouted. The little loli grabbed William's hand and looked up at him with little puppy eyes. William ignored Lily and looked at Gavin in a new light. Is it over? Is it time for me to reincarnate? Not just yet. I'm going to give this to you as well, Gavin said it with a smile. Issei and Lily showed a surprised expression, but it quickly disappeared from their faces. Both of them had recognized what Gavin's gift was, and it made them nod their heads in appreciation. What is this? William asked. He eyed the object that Gavin had given him. Its width and length were only 2 centimeters at most. Somehow, it looked very familiar. The boy was sure that he had seen this object back on Earth. I believe it is called a CPU core back on Earth, Gavin explained. This is my final gift to you. I pray that it serves you well in your next life. Thank you, William replied. He was very grateful because he could tell that Gavin gave him something very precious. Although he didn't know what the CPU core was capable of, he had a feeling that it would play an important role in his rebirth. My turn. Lily raised her hand and handed William a lollipop. Big brother, this is a gift from Lily. Please, don't refuse. Hey, Lily, what do you think you're doing? Gavin glared at the little loli. William is now my follower. Stop making your moves on him. I know that he is your follower, but so what? Lily snorted. I'm not breaking any rules. Lily is right. Issei, who was watching from the side, grinned. She is not breaking any rules. Little brother, you should gratefully accept Lily's gift. It's not every day that she takes a liking to someone who is not her follower. All right. William gratefully accepted Lily's lollipop, which made the smile on the loli's face widen. Fortunately, he was not wearing the glasses of truth. If he was, he might have already backed away in fright. Gavin sighed, but didn't pursue the matter. Thank you, Lily. Why thank me? I gave it to Big Brother because I like him, Lily snorted. I didn't do it for you. Don't get the wrong idea, Baka. The CPU core and the lollipop floated in the air and shot towards William's chest. A surge of divine energy permeated his soul and it made him feel lightheaded. After 10 minutes, William finally regained his composure. He once again thanked Gavin, Issei, and Lily for the gifts they had given him. After finishing their meal, they took William to the cycle of reincarnation. The cycle of reincarnation was a place where countless portals, linked to different worlds, hovered in the starry sky. The colorful portals themselves looked like stars, and William felt fear and excitement at the same time. I think William should go to that golden portal over there, Issei proposed. Golden portals are good, but I don't want Big Brother to live his life like a pig, Lily interjected. The silver portal will be perfect for him because it will give him room for growth. Can you tell me more about the portals? William asked. Since it was related to his rebirth, he wanted to know more about the differences between the different portals. No, the three gods replied firmly. We are not allowed to divulge any information relating to the portals. William may not be very smart, but he understood that Issei and Lily had already given him some hints on what portals were the best. Gavin stood by his side and waited for him to choose a world where he would be born. While he was pondering his decision, the golden portal in front of him glowed. An old man wearing white robes and carrying a wooden staff appeared before him. Gavin? Issei? Lily? The old man was surprised to see his acquaintances in the cycle of reincarnation. Are all of you here to wait for my return? Sorry, but I didn't bring any souvenirs with me. As if, old man, Lily raised her small fist. We're here to send off William and not to welcome your return. Shay, the old man, looked slightly disappointed. However, his expression changed when he looked at William. Oh, this is pretty interesting. Ha! Marvelous. The old man moved closer and eyed William up and down. For a soul to receive so many divin oomph. Gavin and Issei covered the old man's mouth and dragged him away. Lily, on the other hand, engaged William in idle chatter. The three gods had unanimously agreed that William should remain clueless for the time being. Old man, you better not say anything, Issei glared. This is a secret. If the other gods found out about this, there is going to be a riot. Shut your trap, old man, Gavin pleaded. This is my last chance to get a follower. Don't make me beat you up. Fine, you little brats, the old man agreed, but a mischievous smile appeared on his face. However, let me join as well. This looks fun. Besides, that boy seemed tailor-made to become my disciple. Huh? Well, wait, old man, are you for real? You plan to make William your disciple? Why not? It's not against the rules, right? Besides, this is also beneficial for you, Gavin. Gavin frowned. Old man, the boy's soul couldn't accept any more divinities. Having 3 is already pushing it to the limit. Don't worry, I won't give him any divinities, the old man said. I'll give him something different. After the 3 came to an understanding, they returned to where William and Lily were waiting for them. Hello, William, the old man greeted the boy with a brilliant smile. My name is David, and I am a friend of these 3 gods. Hello, Sir David? William bowed his head. Have you already chosen the portal you plan to enter? David asked. Yes, William replied with determination. I will go to that silver portal over there. William pointed at a silver portal that was dispersing rainbow lights from its center. That world? Not bad. It's a very good choice. David nodded his head in agreement. Well, since the 2 of us met, then it must be fate. Let me give you a souvenir before you leave this place. David handed William the wooden staff that he was holding. Take this with you. Eh? But Gramps, this is your walking stick, right? William stared at David with confusion. Relax. I have more where that came from. David waved his hand casually. A wooden stick, similar to the one William was holding, appeared in David's hand. Take that as a memento of our meeting. David patted the boy's shoulder. Now off you go. William's body floated in the air and flew towards the portal. However, he stopped midway and looked back to the 4 gods who had made his stay in the Temple of the Gods memorable. Thank you, everyone. William bowed respectfully. I'll do my best in my next life. William, before you go, please listen carefully, Gavin said. As you set off on your new journey, remember that the journey itself has meaning. The sunrise, the sunset, and the beauty of the world around you. Embrace them all and live your life to the fullest. Thank you. I will. William waved his hand one last time and faced the portal in front of him. Your favorite stories on NO.com. Suddenly, a truck emerged from the portal right next to the silver portal that William was planning to enter. With a loud crash, the truck hit William and sent him spiraling towards a red portal in the distance. In a span of a few seconds, William's soul entered the portal, leaving the four gods frozen in place. Gavin, Issei, Lily, David, Fak. The truck finally stopped and transformed into a 10-meter tall robot. Did I just hit someone? Truck-kun, I'm gonna dismantle you, Gavin roared in anger. What's taking it so long? An elf who seemed to be in his early 30s paced back and forth outside the room. Like all elves, he was very good looking. However, that handsome face of his was masked with anxiety. Giving birth takes time, a beautiful elf replied. Stop walking around, you are making me nervous as well. I'm worried about our daughter, the handsome elf replied. What if something happens to her and the child? What should we do, Aaron? Nothing will happen, Theoden. Aaron glared at her husband in annoyance. Get a grip, will you? Just look at Morgan. See? He's pretty calm. Theoden glanced at the red-haired man who was leaning on the wall at the corner of the room. He had his arms crossed over his chest and he was standing still like a statue. His eyes were closed and seemed to be resting. The handsome elf finally calmed down and sat beside his wife. Both elves held each other's hands and prayed to their gods to keep their daughter and her child safe from harm. Riyadh updated stories at NO.com. Inside the delivery room, my lady, I can see the baby's head, the midwife said with excitement. Just a little bit more. Just one more push. The beautiful lady lying on the bed gave a guttural grunt as she obeyed the midwife's pleading. Her long blonde hair stuck to her skin and her emerald green eyes were tinged with fatigue. She had been in labor for more than 3 hours and was already feeling very weak. Only her unwavering determination to see her child kept her sanity from losing control. After much hardship, the baby was finally born to the world. The midwife held the newborn baby in her hands. She checked its gender and was about to congratulate her lady for giving birth to a boy when she noticed that something was amiss. After giving it much thought, the midwife realized that the baby didn't cry when it was born. A frown appeared on her face as she used magic to clean up the baby's body. She paid close attention to the baby's breathing and its heartbeat. For a brief moment, the midwife thought that the baby had immediately died after it was born. She had seen such cases before and it made her very anxious. Fortunately, she noticed the newborn's chest rise, which was a clear indication that he had started breathing. However, the baby's breathing was very slow and labored. What's wrong? The beautiful lady who had just given birth asked. Did something happen to my baby? Her question brought the midwife out of her daze. She hastily presented the baby to his mother and congratulated her. Congratulations, my lady. It's a boy, the midwife said. However, the baby is very weak and I'm afraid. The beautiful lady ignored the midwife and held her newborn son close to her bosom. All the exhaustion she had felt during her labor were washed away by the happiness she was feeling at that moment. You look like a little caterpillar. The beautiful lady teased her son as a tear slid down the side of her face. She caressed the baby's cheek softly and channeled her magic to her hands. Heal. Cure. After casting 2 consecutive spells, the baby finally moved and started to cry. The 2 elves who were waiting outside the room glanced at each other. Erin cried and buried her head on her husband's embrace. Although she kept on telling her husband that everything was going to be fine, she herself was feeling anxious. The red-haired man who was leaning on the wall finally opened his eyes. He breathed a sigh of relief as he looked at the ceiling of the room. His gray eyes were tinged with happiness and sorrow. Happiness, because his brother's child had been born. Sorrow, because the child would never get to see his father in this lifetime. My lady, your child is very tenacious. The midwife smiled as she looked at the child. I really thought that he wouldn't be able to make it. The beautiful lady kissed her baby and smiled. Are you saying that he has a strong will to live? Exactly. The midwife nodded her head in agreement. Will, the beautiful lady muttered. From now on, your name will be William. William von Ainsworth. The beautiful lady looked at her son lovingly. Grow big and strong just like your father. Suddenly, the door sprang open and the 2 elves entered the room. Theoden immediately checked his daughter's condition. His heart ached when he saw the exhaustion on his daughter's face. However, he could also sense happiness and pride inside her beautiful exterior. Erin went to her daughter's side and kissed her cheeks. "Congratulations, Arwen." "Thank you, Mother," Arwen replied with a faint smile. Seeing the mother and daughter pair, the handsome elf felt left out and decided to scrutinize the baby who was nestled in his daughter's embrace. "Why is this child so quiet?" Theoden asked. "Are human babies that weak? What are you talking about?" "He's not a human child. He's a half-elf," Erin corrected her husband. "Father, my baby is not weak," Arwen pouted. "He's strong. If not, then he wouldn't have been born in this world." Theoden frowned, but knew better than to argue with his wife and daughter. After checking their daughter and the baby, the two elves left the room in order to let the mother and child have some quality time with each other. After all, they had to part sooner or later. Arwen unbuttoned her dress and gently guided her son's lips to her breast. The baby still had his eyes closed. Clearly, he was still weak, but his natural instincts allowed him to perform the most basic thing that a newborn child should do, and that was to drink his mother's milk. Deep inside William's consciousness, words started to form. However, his soul was still damaged due to being hit by Truck Kun before he entered the cycle of reincarnation. Because of this, he was unable to see the words that had appeared on his status page. Daily quest. Drink milk has been completed. Rewards. 5 EXP points. Current EXP. 5,100. Name. William von Ainsworth. Race. Half-elf. Hit points. 5 for 5. Mana. 10 or 10. Job class. None. Subclass. None. Strength. 0. Agility. 0. Vitality. 1. Intelligence. 2. Dexterity. 0. Skills. None. Titles. None. "Please promise me that you will look after him," Arwen said as she held William in a loving embrace. Tears fell freely from her eyes because she couldn't bear parting with her son. However, in order to keep him safe, she had no choice but to let him go to where the humans lived. Theoden and Erin were also feeling depressed because their first grandson was going away. If not for the responsibilities that had been passed on to their lineage, they might have done everything in their power to keep William by their side. "I can't promise you that," Morgan replied in a firm manner. "You know that if he stayed by my side, he would live a life filled with danger. However, don't worry. I will bring him to my hometown. My brother and his wife are already waiting for his arrival. I'm sure that they will keep him safe and happy." Arwen's lips quivered as she held on to her baby. William was still sleeping and was unaware that he would be separated from his mother. He had only been in this new world for 2 weeks and still hadn't opened his eyes in all that time. His mother had been very worried about his condition, but she had already done her best. The child's body was healthy, so that only led to one problem. The child's soul. The elves had strong spiritual powers. After doing a spiritual scan on her child, Arwen found out that her baby's soul seemed to be damaged. The only good news was that the soul would gradually recover as time passed. Arwen believed that it would only take a month or two, at the very least, before William's soul fully recovered. Unfortunately, William missed the chance to see his beautiful mother before he was taken away. "My lady, it would be dangerous to delay this any longer," Arwen's maiden protector, Sheila, reminded. The Temple of Life is doing their best to stall the Elven Council, but their search has expanded to this part of the continent as well. I'm afraid it is only a matter of time before they find us. Arwen gave William a kiss on the lips before handing him over to Morgan. She then cast a protection spell that would put her baby into a state where time stood still. Only when Morgan reached his homeland would the spell be lifted. "Do you want to give him anything before I go?" Morgan asked. "It will take many years before the two of you see each other again." "I already left him a memento," Arwen answered as her gaze landed on the necklace that she had given her son. At the center of the necklace was a black ring. It was the ring that belonged to William's deceased father and Morgan's twin brother, Maxwell. Morgan gazed at the familiar ring lying quietly on the baby's chest and nodded his head. He bid his final goodbye to Arwen and her parents before walking towards his mount. The 7-meter-tall manticore lowered its massive body and allowed Morgan to sit on its back. This creature had the body of a lion, the tail of a scorpion, and the wings of a dragon. It was a mighty beast that had accompanied Morgan in his journey to the peak of the mortal realm. "After a few years, make sure to send him letters," Morgan said in encouragement. "I'm sure that he would like to talk to his birth mother, even through letters." Arwen bitterly nodded her head. Even without Morgan's reminder, she would still send her son letters. She didn't want her son to think that his mother didn't care for him. The manticore flapped its wings and flew to the sky. Arwen wept as her baby slowly disappeared beyond the horizon, somewhere on the western side of the southern continent. A manticore landed a mile away from the small fiefdom of Lant. Although Morgan could just enter the city with his mount, he decided to be more low-key in his approach. He had been exiled from the Hellan Kingdom many years ago, but if he wanted to return to his homeland, no one, not even the Blood Iron King, could stop him. The royal family, as well as the nobility, hated and feared him. In order to let his family live in peace, he decided to leave the kingdom and wander the continent. Remember, don't hunt indiscriminately. Morgan patted his manticore and gave it a stern reminder. The manticore gave a low growl of acknowledgement before it ran into the depths of the forest. Morgan shook his head helplessly as he walked on foot towards his brother's estate, located at the back of the city. No one saw him enter the city, not the guards who were manning the gates, nor the patrols that were making their rounds. In less than half an hour, Morgan stood in front of a 3-story manor. This was the house where he and his brothers played around during their childhood. It had been almost 4 years since his last visit. You sure took your time, big brother. The main door of the manor opened, and a man who was in his late 20s greeted him with a smile. It had been a while, Morgan replied with a stiff smile. Mordred, 4 years, Mordred snorted. You should come back home more often. Also, don't use that lame excuse that you are exiled and you can't come home to visit. Who are you kidding? Why are you boys talking outside? A beautiful woman with dark brown hair appeared behind Mordred. Morgan, nice to see you again. Come inside. I prepared your favorite dishes. You haven't changed, Anna, Morgan greeted. You're still as beautiful as ever. Enough with your sweet talk. Give me the baby. Anna happily walked towards Morgan to take a look at the baby in his arms. Anna gazed at the small child and felt her heart melting. Without waiting for Morgan's permission, she scooped the baby into her arms and planted a kiss on William's forehead. What is his name? Anna asked. William, Morgan answered. Very well, his nickname will be Will. Anna grinned. She then left the 2 men and went inside the house. The 2 brothers sighed and followed behind her. Although Mordred was the Baronet of Lant, the one calling the shots at home was none other than Anna. When they entered the house, they could hear Anna talking to someone. Ella, this is Will, isn't he cute? Me. You think so too, right, me. You see, he has been on a long journey. Can you give him some of your milk? Me. Morgan tilted his head as he saw Anna coaxing a goat to breastfeed William. The goat was only a meter tall and had a very fluffy coat. The 12-inch horns on its head had a reddish hue which made it look more refined. The goat stood still as Anna guided the baby's lips to drink some of its milk. The journey had been long, and if not for Arwen's spell, William might have starved along the way. Unknown to the sleeping William, his status page was once again updated as the goat's milk entered his system. Daily quest. Drink milk has been completed. Rewards. 5 EXP points.